feel like some directors are speaking a secret language? Like
Yeah.
when you're watching a film, there's this whole other level you're just not quite grasping.
Mhm.
You're not alone. Our listeners have sent in some seriously fascinating material
Oh, right.
on the language of film.
It's about taking those images, those individual frames,
Hmm.
and then using them to, well, tell a story, much like an author would with words.
Okay, so instead of words and sentences, we're talking camera angles, lighting, editing choices.
Exactly.
But it's all deliberate, all in the service of crafting a narrative.
Absolutely. And, just like any good storyteller,
Mhm.
a director can take something familiar, like a cliche,
Right.
and use it in a way that totally subverts expectations. And then, just when the tension is at its peak, bam, the bride stabs the groom.
It's not an accident, is it?
Not at all. That, my friend, is semiotics at work,
Semiotics.
the study of signs and symbols.
Oh.
Filmmakers use it all the time, whether they're conscious of it or not.
So when we talk about directors who are really masters of this visual language, are there any that immediately spring to mind?
So many. But if I had to pick one, Alfred Hitchcock would be right up there. Hitchcock, he planned every shot so meticulously, he knew exactly how the audience would react.
He's like a puppeteer of emotions.
Right.
That scene in Psycho with Norman Bates trying to sink the car in the swamp, I mean, the tension is just unreal.
And the way Hitchcock makes you complicit in Norman's panic.
Oh, yeah.
The slow, agonizing descent of the car, that music, it puts you right there with him.
It's true. You're practically holding your breath along with him.
Right. It's brilliant. Yeah, think about the movie Seven, for example.
Yeah.
The whole film, its entire premise, revolves around the concept of the 7 deadly sins. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The length of a film definitely influences the way a story is told.
Yeah.
We've got Cheap Beans, that short film you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's a great example to look at.
Perfect. So how does a complete narrative play out when you've got, a limited runtime?
Well, in Cheap Beans, we meet this guy living kind of a solitary life.
Yeah.
And he goes to the supermarket one day to buy, well, cheap beans.
Ah.
It's like this life lesson wrapped up in a short film. Be yourself.
I love that.
Even though he didn't get the girl, there's this sense of, hope, like he learned something valuable.
Exactly. It's still a satisfying ending.
Right.
Which is so important no matter how long the film is. You want the audience to walk away feeling like the story's been told, like it's reached a natural conclusion.
Absolutely. And Cheap Beans does that beautifully. But with a short film, you got to be economical. Every shot, every line has to count.
It's like a master class in efficiency.
Totally. Exactly. And that's the other side of the coin, right?
Exactly.
That music isn't just an accompaniment, it's its own language within the film. Conveying emotions, even telling stories in ways that visuals they can't quite achieve on their own.
So it's not just about finding a catchy tune, it's about finding the perfect musical partner to elevate the entire story that's unfolding on screen.
Precisely. The melody, the instrumentation, the rhythm, all these choices, they all play a part in creating the overall impact.
Next time you find yourself captivated by a film, take a moment. Appreciate the language that's being spoken all around you. You might be surprised how much more you discover just by paying attention.